Hello and welcome to another episode of Rapid Fire Question Time with the UK's most trusted pump experts. And today we're answering another question about power. Got Tim here, one of our head designers, and the question we have is, can the pumping station control panel be powered from two sources in case one fails?
In short, yes it can. But there are certain considerations to bear in mind when doing this type of application. So a lot of consulting engineers and site agents and clients want to know whether they can have a secondary power supply as a backup to ensure that if power does fail to a site from one source, there's always a secondary source to avoid the need for calling out emergency engineers to ensure the pumping station doesn't overflow and use the 24-hour storage or more and cause problems for the whole development. So in short, yes, there are certain considerations. So consideration number one is if you have a three-phase 415 volt system, a secondary power supply can cause pumps to run backwards, which, although they can pump out, you'll be surprised to hear they can pump out liquid while running backwards, especially some brands. They never do it as efficiently and the flow rate is a lot lower. So there's always a certain consideration to ensure that the pump system is designed to ensure that the pumps will run the same way on both when using both power supplies. The challenge number two is if there is a generator set up on the system, this can never be guaranteed. So with our KX system, we ensure that the pumps will run the right way every single time.
Okay, and also there's a bit of a topic around kind of generator switchover. I know, for example, we've done a project before where they had a control panel that had a very quick switchover point. Is that something else that's can be incorporated? So for example, I don't know, take an education, take a school, for example, if the power completely fails and both sources fail, is it possible to have a very quick switchover point where they can use in case they can bring a generator and just plug it straight in?
So yes, there are, with generator systems, there are a number of ways to do it. So the most common being a manual switchover so somebody has to go to the control panel physically and change it over from the mains to the generator switch. There is also on more systems where there might be more risk if the pumping station does fail. Then yes, there can be automatic switchover mechanisms and connected to a generator system. So yes, it depends on how critical it is if the pumping station fails. So if you're at a site where maybe a prison or similar, where access is limited or very difficult to get to in an emergency situation, then yes, automatic switchover may be the way to go on these types of systems. But as we say, there is always the danger that the pumps can run backwards. So it's always so yes, it can be done with an automatic or a manual switchover point, but it needs to be made sure that the pumps will run the right way. With single phase versions, there's no worry of the pumps running backwards, whichever supply is used. So yes, so single phase 230 volt systems are great where they are feasible.
Fantastic. And that's all for this episode. Thank you for watching.